Hello guys. So first of all, thank you all for coming. Also for the organizer that they organized this nice event. A little bit to get to know you. How many of you are game designers? Oh, there are pretty few hands. Is there anybody especially balance designer or economy designer? Okay, so hopefully this will be interesting or inspiring not only for these guys but for everybody. So we will speak about the connection between the game balance or economy balance connected, what can be the impact on the revenue, on the things that we did in the games that we help grow. Me personally, I'm game and economy designer in SuperScale. Previously, I worked I'm more than 5 years in app monetization. Previously, I worked in Cygic GPS navigation as a monetization lead. At SuperScale, we are helping companies to scale their games to their maximum potential. These are the few partners that you maybe have heard about. For example, Traplight, Armada, or Frogmind. We are working currently on more than 40 projects. So one of the games that I will be talking about is Thanks a Lot. It's a 3 versus 3 MOBA game. What I personally like about this game is that you are able to personalize or to play with the gear that you like. So you are able to pick the gun that you like, build on a chassis that you like, and there's a commander on top of it. Usually, when we start the cooperation with a new game or new project, we do a huge deconstruction of the game, and we try to understand it, to simulate the economy and all the things that is going on with it, and to find the spots that can bring the most value to our partner. So when we started working with Thanks a Lot, we did something similar. And what we see from the data, what we see from Discord or Reddit or reviews in stores, we saw that not many people were playing with legendary guns. And it was like a point, like when you know that there is a problem in the game, it's easy to work with the problem or opportunity. But when you are just finding and looking into things they don't really make sense, you need to dig deeper. Also, we saw that there were only a few guns, but they were played by the majority, and we saw some pretty low win rates on selected guns. So when you know where is the problem, then you need to set an aim. Like you can't. The solution can be just fix this problem, but you need to know where do you want to get, how does it should look like. So what we wanted to get with these changes that we did, we wanted to have the rarities transparent. So if you drop higher rarity, we wanted you to know that it's better and it makes sense for the player to switch for the new gun. Also, we wanted to make the upgrades impactful, in terms of that you can feel the upgrades in the game. That you upgrade, the upgrading makes sense. And also we wanted that the skill wins in terms of that you are able to win in any guns. Like the guns are completely different. Okay, I will show you in a bit. The question was like we knew where we want to get, and the question was how do we want to get it into the game. So basically, we started with damage per second, like simple numbers that everybody knew, and we were like, oh, this should work. But I'm sure you know this feeling that you started working with something and you come to some problems and you find that it's not really ideal to use it. So for example, damage per second doesn't take into account a few characteristics. So for example, some guns are long range and some are short range. Some has possibility to shoot over the walls, or for example, this one is even deals damage in an area. Different gun, like a shotgun, for example, it deals the bullets spread, and so the damage per second does not really help you because it's okay if everybody can deal the same damage here, but the guns have certain advantages and disadvantages, and this is not taken into account. So therefore, we cried a little bit, but then we were trying to fix it with something we call effective damage per second. So we applied modifiers, like damage modifiers, for all these things that I was talking about to make it more effective. So we did like a nice balanced thing in the Excel, as we started with Excel. But you know, if you make something nice in Excel, in reality, something will be overpowered in reality. So therefore, it is good, or recommend to playtest, to have your beta community, or that's the reason of soft launch, all the other things that are done to fix this stuff. Because even if you find these mistakes or flaws, in reality, there always is something that is not completely in balance, and is not possible, in my opinion, it's not possible to make like 100% fine balance. And personally, I admire games that are able to patch balance like every 2 weeks, for example, as the League of Legends, to find all these tiny spots that are not in balance, and how they are trying to fix it. If you got into reality, it's really important to gather the data and to see, for example, like win rates, as I was speaking before, or what guns people choose in what situations, because based on that you can then continue and improve the balance that you have in your game. So all these changes that I was talking about, they are numbers only, so there was no development needed, no developer needed in this case, and only with this we A/B tested it when we rolled it out, and the uplift on revenue was 25%, which if you spend like 2 weeks in Excel and playing with it is a really nice result, and sometimes we feel like this when we saw it. But what's more important is that we saw that also players noticed it and were happy with the change. Second case study that I will go through is the game is called Transit King Tycoon. It's a transport fleet management game. So you've got roads, you build roads, you've got trucks, and you try to optimize the effect, like to transport the goods in an effective way. And when we started working with the game, every truck has 3 main parameters, like speed, fuel consumption, and the capacity. And 2 of these were pretty nice scaling. So if you've got level 1, this is a truck that you can get, and if you progress in the game, the speed is progressing, the fuel effectiveness or the fuel consumption goes down. But what we saw was like the capacity is still the same. This mechanic was already, like the scaling or increasing capacity of trucks was already in the game, and the studio is using it for the premium trucks, or was using it for the premium trucks. And it was like, you are trying to be more effective, and you are not allowing players to transport more with every truck. So we were like, how about we go this way? So in reality, it looked, in our eyes, it looked like you are upgrading something, but it's the same. Like you are not changing anything, and we proposed to load the trucks properly. So, as you know, if you change something in the game, it has impact on all the other things, and especially if you are playing with the capacity in this type of games. So here it's a progression, so level 0, level 100, and this was all the capacity the player was able to transport. So it was, in the previous build, it was rising only a little, and the change that I showed you, it's rising significantly, and it brings all the problems that you can imagine. Because if you are able to transport more goods, you are able to earn more money. If you are able to earn more money, you are upgrading faster. So all the economy had to be like, it started with one number, yeah, like let's upgrade this stuff, but in the end we needed to change all the economy. So all the costs, all the upgrades, all the sizes of the requests of the cars. So again, we saw a really nice uplift in revenue. In this type, there was a little bit of development needed, since the UA changed and there were some tiny bits that needed to be changed. But still, we saw 32% rise in uplift. But what was more important, what was more interesting for me, that we also saw a rise in retention, because it's as we believed, it was a mechanic that was essential to the game, that you want to be more effective and you want to transport more goods. And as I showed you on the previous chart, the change is, the longer you are in the game, the change is more visible. So also, as you look at those relative uplift in retention, the longer you are in the game, the retention, the change, the impact on retention was better. On day 7, it was plus 14%, and those who are game designers, you know how hard it is to boost retention. So, to sum these things together, how are you able to improve your game? First of all, you need to identify opportunity. It could be either a mistake or a flaw, as we showed in Thanks a Lot, and it can be also an opportunity. In Thanks a Lot, it was a mechanic that was there, but was not really utilized. Your players are definitely a source of inspiration, like what you should change. So you should read through reviews, through Reddit, Discord, and so on. Definitely ask designers and all the people in the company, and I highly recommend using the data, because in my opinion, designer without the data is not really seeing all the picture. As my friend used to say, he says, like, don't listen to players, listen to data, because that's the reality what they are doing and not what they are saying. Second thing, set your goal. You need to know what you want to achieve with the change that you are doing. If you've got no aim, no goal, you will not achieve it. You should also imagine all the possible scenarios, like things can go crazy, as I showed you in the economy. Be bold. Like the changes that you saw, they were really huge, and sure, we were a little bit afraid, like how can this be, it can turn out in a bad way. So, but still, if you want to get a huge impact on your KPIs, on the retention, revenue, on and other metrics, the changes that you are doing or A/B testing should be big. Like if you are A/B testing color of a button, it may have like a few percentage impact, but it's, in my opinion, is not really worth testing. And regarding to be bold, it's important to mitigate the risk, and this is the reason, like for the A/B tests, for the soft launch, for the beta community, for the play testing, and for example, you can reward it. When we rolled it out for all the players, it's good to reward your existing players and to explain them what you are doing and why you did it. I will come back a little bit. There's one point I wanted to show you, that when we did this change in the economy, like, and we were A/B testing it, it was really funny because the studio, we got the regular calls. They were like, there are people, players, that found out that we are A/B testing the new economy, and they want it. What should we do? Like, this is a good way. If it's like, this is what we want to achieve, that even the old players want to have the things that we are going through A/B test. So I hope it inspired you, and please, I'm ready to answer your questions.